pleasure.
Hey, everybody, good afternoon, and welcome back to the ChatGTM Podcast. It is Michael, Beck, and Chad Horn reporting to you live from the Prosper Accelerate Conference here in Dallas, Texas, at the beautiful Omni Hotel. I'm feeling kind of jacked up on this last session we just had. Who was that speaking?
That was pretty amazing.
Sint?
Yes.
Sint.
Incredible.
Oh, my goodness. Former CEO of the Dallas Mavs, right?
Yes, exactly.
Former head honcho over at AT&T.
Yep.
She was amazing.
Oh my
Incredible.
gosh.
So
Oh my
down to
gosh.
earth. Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And before I go gushing on about Sint, I really want to introduce our guest here, who's also an amazing professional and somebody doing some really cool stuff in the market and in our world, Dr. Jennifer King with Bisk. Jen.
You can call me Jen.
I get to call her Jen. That's
yes,
awesome.
Yes. If you're in my class, you'll have to call me Dr. King. But
Okay.
you can call me Jen.
I'm here with Jen
Yes.
King, and we're talking about Bisk. We're talking about some of the work that you're doing with the Prosper Company,
Yes.
and also just what Bisk is doing for the world and helping people have the right tools to get the right people lined up for their career journey and even as a human
right.
being. Is that a good assessment?
That's a good assessment.
I love it. So how are you first of
I'm
all?
doing great.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
It's
Our pleasure.
truly our honor.
Thank
Our
you.
honor. So tell me a little bit about what you just saw in that room.
Yeah.
I mean, Sint, that was a force of nature.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
And
Now, Hattie and her combined, I think, has almost like a double boiler of awesome.
they're best
right?
friends.
Yeah.
On a stage, just talking about life. And I think that's what we want to capture at this conference is literally life on life. And you want to become a better leader. You want to grow in the trajectory, like some trajectory professionally.
Yep.
But you do it through authenticity. You do it the way they were just chit-chatting on the stage in front of 500 people.
Yeah.
That's
As
called
if
being
nobody was in the
authentic.
room, but
I
they
know.
knew everybody was there.
Exactly.
And they were talking to all
It
of us.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I have a lot to learn from them.
I'm literally jacked up.
Me too.
I am so on fire about this.
Me too.
So let's talk a little bit about, well, I usually gush about Prosper, but I think by now people are going to hear what we're talking about with Prosper, and we'll get to that. But what is Bisk? What are you doing for people? What's just the whole idea of it? And then we'll go from there.
So Bisk is a privately owned company in Tampa, Florida. We
Hometown.
are in the education business, the ed tech business. We've been in this business since 1971. We have traditionally been in the higher ed business. So for years, we've focused on the higher ed side where we help colleges and universities get online and get accredited.
Sure.
But in the last 3 years, we have shifted to workforce development. So I would say now in 2025, Bisk is a workforce and education company.
Okay.
We are about upskilling, reskilling, and training the future workforce, not just in the US, but globally. That is our job. And I'm the SVP of Workforce and Education for Bisk. So my role is literally to be that bridge between workforce, industry, corporate, and university partners.
Okay.
Right?
And so we met you initially at the Prosper Forum.
Right.
And is that your first engagement with Prosper? Is this a new relationship?
This is a brand new relationship. I met Prosper actually in February at the Women in Restaurant Leadership Conference.
Whirl. Yep,
exactly.
We're big fans of Whirl.
I am too.
Yeah, you got a
And
couple of Kens sitting here.
Awesome. And we're all going. We're going in next year, right?
Yep.
And that's where I met Prosper, and it was just sort of like I don't believe in coincidence, but it was just a beautiful synergy immediately. And the leaders at Prosper came to me and they said, "Hey, I hear you work for this company called Bisk. We're trying to build an assessment tool, a survey tool. We want to offer all of our members or partners some assessment tool to help them better themselves, right?" And they go, we're having a really hard time, creating this tool. And I'm like, well, I've got 20 tools. I got like 120. Don't build your tool. We've got one for you.
So you already have the framework
I got
established.
it. Yeah, I already have it. So what do you need? What do you want to build? And that's literally how this relationship started.
Chad?
So one of the things I've noted about Prosper before is they don't just want to put on a good event.
No.
They actually want to impact change.
Yes.
And even to the point where they'll make some people uncomfortable intentionally. And
Change is kind of uncomfortable.
I think assessments are uncomfortable.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Right? It's like you kind of get afraid of what you might find out, and then you have to confront the reality and become more self-aware.
Right.
How do you address people's fear of even facing an assessment that might be actually better for them?
You know, the adage is just do it. You just have to take the assessment. And you don't have to share your assessment results with anybody. So that's number one. When you take the Prosper Edge assessment, it's your assessment. It doesn't go to your supervisor or your teammates. So the first thing I'd say is you don't have to be afraid because the data is going to be your data.
Right.
But then I would say if you are afraid to look at yourself, I mean, you need to at some point look in the mirror and address yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And that's what this assessment is doing. The Prosper Edge assessment is going to measure you on 20 capabilities. And these are capabilities that we pretty much curated for the food service and hospitality industry. So taking this Prosper Edge assessment is like looking in the mirror. You're going to get a score, an insight report that basically tells you how you measure up on 20 capabilities. What are your strengths and what areas of growth that you need to focus on? So I would say don't be afraid. It's your mirror, and you get to look in your mirror, and you don't have to share those results with anybody. It just belongs to you. But if you do want to share those results with other people, like your supervisor or your workmates, choose wisely, share your results, and then now you have accountability, in your growth plan.
It almost sounds like a checkup.
It is a checkup
from the neck
it really
up, right?
is.
Like see how you're doing
triage.
psychologically.
It's like a triage.
Yeah. So and triage is a great concept for that because you're trying to come in and figure out what's clicking, what's working, what's not, right? And so you have these 20 areas that you focus on. Give us an idea what some of those are.
Yes. So the assessment is built around what we call 4 domains or categories, like thinking, interacting, leading. And then underneath those categories or domains are these 20 capabilities. And the capabilities are like cultural agility, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, communication, critical thinking, problem solving. And it's a collection of 20 that really touches on probably the skills or the capabilities that you need in the food service and hospitality industry.
That makes sense. And to follow up on that, what's the science behind that?
Well, the science is pretty simple. We developed the tool, an assessment tool, and without geeking out and getting all academic, there's validity behind the assessment. There's all of that. But really, the science is that when you complete the assessment, you're going to literally have an insights report that tells you literally what are your top 2 strengths and what are your bottom 2 weaknesses. Your opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
And if you call that science, that's science. But
But
it gives you a starting place, right? It's sort of like when you go to the doctor and you need a checkup from the head up, as you said. I love that. Yeah, that's what this is. Like, these are my top 2 areas. I'm probably good in these areas, but these are my bottom 2 areas where I need more growth. That's what this assessment does.
Chad?
So one of the weird fun stories from my history as far as tests go, when I was going into the MBA program, I had to take the GREs.
Yes,
I took a practice test.
Yeah.
I got a score. And then after 6 months of practice, took the thing in the real world, and I got lower.
You got lower
than my initial practice test.
Darn GRE.
So I'm curious, how, when someone takes an assessment like this, how immutable are the results? Versus, are they, if they take it in 6 months, is it going to be the same result, or is it going to reflect their growth in that time?
That's a great question, because the assessment is sort of like a time capsule. It's like in this moment when you took this assessment, this is how you measure on these 20 capabilities. It's a snapshot. It's a personal snapshot. Now, in 6 months, presumably, you should probably be about the same, I would think, unless something drastic happens to you and you have a life change. But maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, you take it again, you might see your growth areas have come up, but because of life, maybe you now have other challenges.
Yeah.
And so it's always going to change. It can change, and that's good. What I want to say, though, is that's the beauty of the Bisk and Prosper partnership, because we recognize that. So many people said, okay, exactly that question. I take this assessment. I have this data on myself. Now, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like,
How
what's
do you
next?
implement it?
What do I do?
Yeah.
So, and you heard me talk about Prosper You today.
Yes.
So that is where we are going to step in and provide you with the next step. After you take that assessment, you identify your strengths, your growth areas. We're going to provide you with a whole portfolio of courses. We're going to start off with courses to help develop you around these 20 capabilities, okay? But then we're going to open up an entire portfolio for you, the Bisk portfolio. It's a portfolio of our accredited university partners. We have programs that like I told you, historically, we've always been in the higher ed space.
Yeah.
So now we're bringing all these higher ed partners into Prosper You in a single platform so that people, when they take the EDGE assessment, the next step, 6 months after, 1 year after, the next step is going to be pick something from our portfolio for upskilling. That's really the beautiful component about that. We're not going to just leave you stranded with these results.
Right.
We want you.
Here you go.
Yeah, here you go. Good luck. See ya.
Deal with it.
Yeah. No, here's your next step. If you want to upskill, here's your opportunity to do that.
Wow. And you had mentioned previously that, Bisk was already in business before Prosper came along, right? What were the things that you had to look at with regard to the Prosper community and the end in mind of where you wanted to take these exceptional people?
Yeah, that's a great question. Historically, working with Prosper, this is really our first, opportunity to work with food service and hospitality. Like, we've never had a partner like this. This is a completely different, organization, demographic. I mean, it's completely different than who we're used to.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm walking around the hotel and I'm talking to the CEO of Pop and John's and the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese. He was on the stage.
There's a lot of power brokers here.
I know.
Yeah.
And this is a completely different audience than I'm used to. And that you just walk up, to the CEO of Jersey Mike's, and you have a conversation with them. Yeah. And the fact that they're so down to earth and they really want to invest in their employees and in their team members.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I've never had that with other corporate partners and other industry partners. This is genuinely the most authentic group I've worked with who really want to make that investment in their team and in their organization.
Yeah, it really mirrors what Cindy said in her moment too. We have more in common than we have.
Exactly.
They're different, right?
Right.
That brings us all together.
Right.
Chad, I didn't want to take your thunder here.
Well, I mean, what you were just saying is a good segue to this question I've been wondering about is, even in the time you've been doing this, you must have heard stories from people who've taken the assessment, maybe shared it with people, maybe made some changes. What's been the most inspiring story you've heard?
Well, it's so funny because I am Dr. Jen. People refer to me as Dr. Jen.
I thought you were going to say Dr. J. I'm showing my age,
and that is relevant too because Jen begins with J.
Jen
begins with J. But yesterday it was funny because someone had taken the assessment and I think they thought I was a doctor, like a therapist.
Oh. They lay on the couch and start talking to you or what?
Kind of. And they were going on about their weaknesses and what should I do and what do you think? And when I was 5 years old.
Whoa.
And I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of doctor. I just created the assessment. I don't do that.
Like, very interesting.
I know. I wanted to, but
Yeah.
But so that was really funny. But what I'm seeing is, I think this is really the gist of it. Yesterday, someone talked to me about their assessment results, and they said, at first I was kind of embarrassed, like I can't believe I'm bad at, and literally she said that, bad at emotional intelligence, and
Sure.
And then she says, but that kind of makes sense because I've had these kinds of conflicts at my job, these kinds of issues with my team members. My supervisor once told me X, Y, and Z. And this sort of this assessment kind of revealed that emotional intelligence is something I'm struggling with. And I said, okay, well, now what are you going to do with that? And she says, I'm going to do something really bold. I'm like, oh, tell me. She says, I'm going to go back to my organization. I'm going to sit down with my supervisor and I'm going to show my results. And I'm going to have an honest conversation about what they had already revealed to me about my lack of emotional intelligence. They didn't call it that, but essentially that's what they were telling me in my performance review.
Sure.
And then I'm going to go meet with each of my team members. And I'm going to, in some cases, apologize. And in some cases, just acknowledge that, this is a gap for me, but I plan to work on it because now I know, now I understand. And that was really powerful.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. That kind of honesty too.
Is really,
right?
yeah, exactly.
It seems the EQ is one of the reoccurring themes we keep hearing, and how important it is. And that phrase pops to mind: the problem isn't the problem, it's your response or reaction to the problem that's the problem.
That's right.
Well, taking that in mind and how you've developed this tool, my question is this unique to Prosper, or is what Bisk is offering the same thing that you offer to the public they offer to Prosper, or are there other things that you offer to the public that are available to them,
I love
or to other companies?
So the template that we have with Prosper, which is the Prosper Edge Assessment, and Prosper U, which is a portfolio of mini courses, soft skill courses, GED, ESL, and academic degrees. That template of Prosper Edge and Prosper U is a template that we want to align with any organization, any association, any industry. Literally, Prosper's given Bisk this great partnership where we can really start thinking about how do we scale these types of workforce development tools and strategies for other industries, not just food service and hospitality, but I'm like, okay, cybersecurity, let's go. IT, let's go. AI, let's go.
Right.
Like, let's just, rinse and repeat with other industries. And I think we can do that. And we want to do that.
So this is a specific tool meant to work with people, not Prosper.
Right.
This is a place that's leveraging this solution. And are there areas where there are some customizations that people could put in place that might be more germane to their business?
Definitely.
Or their environment?
Well, that's where you get to work with me. Consider me like the concierge or the butler, if you will, because I would work with those organizations and really talk about that customization. What we created for Prosper Edge is going to be their product. No one else is going to get that product. But like I said at the beginning, I have like 120 assessments. I mean, what do you want? Like, what are you trying to measure?
Right.
I will, curate an assessment for another organization. And then deliver a similar Prosper U experience to their organization, which starts with mini courses around those capabilities, and then opens up a whole catalog of other great programs, non-credit, certificates, degrees. We can just repeat this for any organization, any company, and we're ready to do that.
Well, it's so important to have your engine tuned and have high performers performing at optimal levels. In fact, Chad and I watched something the other day. Well, I can't remember what the data was specifically. It was about working next to a high performer. Your productivity would typically go up about 15%. I think that was the number they said.
I forget the number.
And if you were stuck next to a low performer, it goes down to the number of your production may go down by about 30%.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's whether toxicity or dragging feet or whatever that is, but it seems that there's the phrase rising tides lift all ships.
Exactly.
Right? Why wouldn't you want everybody mentally healthy, self-aware, understanding of their impact on others, or to the point of grace before and seeking the understanding and the other pieces that go into it. It's just such a valuable part, and that also spills in the culture. And then we had no speakers to say earlier today that culture always wins, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad culture, it's going to win.
It's going to win.
But not the
right guy won the war in that case, right? The bad culture dominator. You have a lot of toxic high performers out there.
Right.
We're in a podcast. That's okay. We'll talk. She's one of our friends. But it's funny that something can become systemic so quickly if it goes unchecked, right? And it also feels like you could have somebody take the test and go, I'm just going to give all the right answers.
Yeah, that's true. You can fake the test.
Yeah, but then you're just shorting yourself from the growth experience,
and
right?
you're shortening, and I guess you're it's not just yourself, but it's your organization. Because your organization is making this investment. They want you to grow because they know that this investment, Prosper Edge and possibly Prosper You, is going to upskill you.
Yep.
And that way they can retain you as good quality talent. That's really what this is all about.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's to retain the talent. Let's train within. Let's upskill within. Let's grow who we have. Let's not recruit externally, but let's use these tools to help develop the people we have and retain them for our workforce. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, it feels like such a good way to be heard too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Right.
So, Jen, when you say develop, I think most people listening would probably still think that's mostly identifying weaknesses and working on those weaknesses. But how do you think assessments work to help people identify their strengths, own those strengths, and even grow those and develop those strengths further?
Oh, I think you're absolutely right.
He always has a good questions.
It is, he does. Yeah, these questions are better than yours. But you're right, because we always think of kind of like the example I gave earlier, the woman who realized that she had poor emotional intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually talked to her about this. I said, okay, that's your growth area. What are your strengths? Because let's acknowledge those and let's lean into those, because that's really why your company hired you in the first place. It wasn't, look, if they were hiring you for emotional intelligence, clearly they messed up.
Right.
But look at your strengths. They hired you for your strengths. So are you leading? Are you a decision maker? Are you a problem solver? You know, do you are you a good communicator?
Yeah.
Those are your strengths. Lean into those and acknowledge those.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't focus on your weakness.
No.
Always, like, improve, but you have those strengths.
What's your own superpower?
What is your own superpower? I love that.
I love that too. So if we're thinking about, and I know we have to get you down to the party downstairs because there's more networking to be done,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure people are asking.
And food.
Well, food. I always
adult
forget
beverages.
the food. Yes.
There we go.
We've had a long day. It's been a really good and enriching long day of all kinds of good stuff. It wasn't one of those, oh, glad that's over. It's like, wow, that was a lot and can't wait for tomorrow. But a lot to celebrate. But Jen, you know, if people want to find out more about Bisk or engage with your team to see if this is a good fit for them, what's the best way to go about that?
Well, you can go to biskamplified.com.
Boom, boom.
Biskamplified.com.
Yeah.
You can email me, and I'm just going to put it out there, Jennifer-King, King, at Bisk, bisk.com. They can always reach out to you because you'll both have me in your Rolodex.
Absolutely.
So
when we post this, we'll have your LinkedIn link on it too.
And
they
LinkedIn,
can click through that.
Okay, let me just say, LinkedIn is probably the best way.
Yes.
That's the best way. If you want to reach me, go to LinkedIn. I'm Jennifer King, PhD at LinkedIn. That's really the best way to reach out to me via LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I think this is one of more we're going to do because we're about to take the assessments ourselves.
Oh, yay.
I didn't want to do it in the middle of a session, but I got it working. I loaded up and I started. I really need to get some thoughts. I put my phone down so I can be present.
Exactly.
But tonight I'll fill it out, and then next time we talk, I'd love to go through what I found and offer a little bit of personal.
Just remember, I'm
You're going to break the assessment.
No, I won't get on the couch.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist, guys. Okay, like I'll take you out for drinks.
That's okay.
If you want to talk about your results, but
no, that's fine.
I'm not a counselor.
Talk about the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? How it might have made me feel, and how I can see the value and what that means, and how that translates to my own business.
Right.
I think that's something we could talk about.
I would love to do that.
Fantastic conversation, and we gotta get some lunch when we get back to town.
We absolutely, Tampa Bay.
I love it.
Tampa Bay.
Yes, Tampa Bay. I love it.
Let's go.
Well, for now, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Chad, unless you got anything else to offer before we hop off?
I do not. Let's go.
There we go.
All right.
So we're going to get some food and some adult beverages and some more networking fun. It's been a fantastic day here at the Prosper Forum. And what a way to wrap up an amazing day with an amazing individual like Dr. Jen. King. And so we're going to sign off for now. But if you haven't been able to get a hold of her for some reason, reach out to us.
Yes.
If you have questions about this, let us know. We'll make sure that you get it answered. We'll put you in touch with Dr. King. And as I always like to close out, brand acts of kindness, folks.
Yes.
That stuff is free. Sprinkle it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's an infinite resource that people could use a lot more of. And if you do that, you might make somebody else's day better. And you know what? Selfishly makes you feel pretty good too.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for now, it's Michael Beck, Chad Horn, and Dr. King here signing off from the ChatGTM podcast at the Prosper Forum Accelerate Conference.
Accelerate.
We'll see you next time.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you.